This Leafs decor may not be offensively, I don't know, I don't want to say gifted because there's some skill there, but they just don't play that way. But what a great, solid decor in terms of veteran experience and shot blocking, whatever. It's a very playoff style, playoff built decor, it feels like to me.
I'm trying to remember how many years ago it was that I remember there was a play and there were two Leafs behind the opposing team's net, and they were Morgan Riley and Jake Gardner. And they kind of looked at each other and said, what, aren't you back? Aren't you flying the plane? Isn't one of us supposed to be flying the plane?
Right.
You know? And so that kind of embodied the kind of support the goaltender was getting at the other end. So the kind of things, and they did it against Ottawa last year, and they did it for the first part against Florida. Like they played their best style of playoff hockey. Well, they got deeper in 23 years than they ever have. But I mean, because of those two games in particular, we kind of forget about that. But part of it, Justin, was that style and paying attention to it and committing to it. And I like that Craig Berube just says, you're not going to say a lot of things except there's a few non-negotiables, okay? And non-negotiable means non-negotiable. And the team knows there's a few non-negotiables. Otherwise, you can freelance, trying to allow skilled players be skilled players, whatever it may be, but there are some non-negotiables in the Craig Berube team style.
Gord, only a couple of games into a long season, or, if you don't get off to a great start, the season can shorten up real quick here. But just quickly, in terms of what you've seen so far, Florida, no Barkov, no Kachuk, and they seem to kind of pick up where they left off last year, playing their stingy game. Tampa Bay, we all had, is still a very dangerous team, but somehow, some way, blowing leads like they did last night makes them a little bit more vulnerable. How do you see the Atlantic shaping up with the Leafs and being in a position once again to sit at top after 82 games are closed out?
Yeah, and how about Boston kind of giving early signs that they're not going away? And man, Detroit and Buffalo, you want to have the definition of sad starts for teams that didn't need sad starts. But on the flip side, like last year, I thought coming first was really important. I'm not saying it's not important this year. I thought it was to prove something, to do something, to get home ice advantage, which until those final two games, they kind of did use to their advantage. So I'm a little bit about, okay, it's going to come down to game number 83. More so for Florida. If they don't have Barkov, man, oh man, that guy blanketing whoever your best player is and still getting some offense, that's going to be a big loss. But I'm the Atlantic. Man, I'm like, first of all, way better than the Metropolitan. There'll be 5 teams that come out of it. I thought at the end of last year, the Tampa Bay Lightning were the best team the last 20 games. I thought the first 60 games, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then when the playoffs rolled around, the Florida Panthers said, okay, move away, guys, move away. It is us once again, and they steamrolled over everybody. So they're not going to do it for 82 games, okay? But if they're going to do that in the playoffs again, I think Tampa Bay gave an early indication with those 2 exhibition games that, okay, we're going to give a little bit of steam back. And I think Toronto also knows that and what have you. But I just think I don't think coming first has to be the utmost priority for the Maple Leafs, but I see all those teams in it. And if one of them go fall, like heaven forbid the Leafs or like Tampa Bay, like out of the playoffs, that's something I wouldn't expect, but you never know. There's going to be 1 or 2 huge disappointments somewhere.
Totally. I'm trying to think of things for the Leafs where, they've been so good on the power play for so many years, and I'm just, what they need to do to get to that level they had last year. And one of them is that power play was so good. Mitch Marner ran it from the top. Gord, I don't know how you feel about putting Morgan Riley back up there, or if you'd like to see them try another 5-forward power play, whether it's Matthews or Nylander up top. What are your thoughts about how they can get back to being a real threatening power play?
I would like to see them try Morgan Riley again, and you're right. I mean, Mitch Marner, but you're giving Matthew Knies and others a chance to play a more significant role. So again, the sum maybe be better than some of the individual parts is what we're looking at. It is weird, Justin, because they've had times where that power play seems to be clicking at like a 95% efficiency, and then it's clicking at 9.5% efficiency for the next month. So there's been that lack of consistency. So and too much pressure is put on the assistant coaches, but in the case of Mark Savard or whomever, they know the players. He certainly knew what to do on a power play, and he's had a year to get his feet wet, and now some different players there, and I'm confident it's something that should be a power asset for them.
Did the shorthanded goal Montreal scored in the opener cause probably Berube to not be in good enough or a great mood, moving forward here. I mean, it was an ugly shorthanded goal to give up.
Yeah. So, Kippy, again, at the end, the key was, to the point, again, like shorthanded goal is a big momentum killer. And I remember when I used to, I know they have the stats for it, but when I was doing, stats before, I would keep it. And when you scored a shorthanded goal, it was something like 11-0-3 or something, or 7-0-2. Like, it really is a momentum changer. But the key was they found a way to win the game. They found a way to win the game at the end of it. They were behind. They gave up that momentum, shorthanded goal. It wasn't like the prettiest of wins. The 2 empty net goals kind of inflated the score, but they found a way to win. But those kind of things are the kind of things that have to happen on a less of a scale. That kind of momentum changer in the regular season, because you had a few of them against Florida in the playoffs that all of a sudden swung the series. It was a couple of little moments that all of a sudden flipped the series in the Florida Panthers' favor.
Okay, just your assessment so far. We had Mike Rupp on in the first hour talking about the Leafs and what the things that he likes moving forward for them. And they kind of went around the different faces here. So give us an early kind of thought on Michelli, Dakota, Nick Waugh, and what you've seen so far.
Okay, I don't count the exhibition games. And so, none of them I'm going to look at as a steal of the year. But I've liked the makeup, what I've seen on the ice. What I like the best is, like last year, the New York Rangers had a lot of white noise. Okay, and then they never got going. The Boston Bruins started the season with Jeremy Swayman, Jim Montgomery in doubt, Brad Marchand's contract. They fell out of the playoffs. Every year the Maple Leafs had Mitch Marner's contract, Austin Matthews' contract, William Nylander's contract. Oh my God, it's Doobie's last year. He doesn't, oh my goodness, you're going to lose the general manager. Like every year we had this crisis. For 82 games, we had too much white noise, and we've got no white noise. And that's the part I like the best.
Awesome stuff, Gordo. Just to close out our segment, I just want you to know that raccoons can bite when they feel threatened, cornered, or during a feeding interaction. Were you chomping down on a Dante's Fiesta when this happened?
No, Dante. Boy, how much? I don't even Dante's Fiesta is still going. You've given them so much commercial time. I was at the cricket. It came up on the patio on the cricket club, and actually, it was a baby raccoon. That's why I was scared. It didn't have its mom. But the kind of attitude, obviously, by scaring him, is what the Toronto Maple Leaf players can take as incentive. That they should play this season the way I faced down that raccoon on that warm summer evening and endured 5 doses of rabies vaccine.
That's a great life lesson for them.
Really good one to end us on a Friday. Gordo, thanks for doing this, pal.
Hey, guys, take care. Looking forward to it. Go Jays as well. I'm loving the baseball fever.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Gordo. Appreciate it.
He is Gord Stellick. Only one of a kind.
I live near.
Although Brother Bob's pretty close.
Okay. I live very near a Dante Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
So there's 2 things out of that interview that I love. I mean, first of all, raccoon bite is one of the wildest things.
Well, we're never letting that go.
That is brought up for the rest of his time on this show that we are talking about that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys deal with raccoons, obviously?
I got videos of me. They're holding my hockey stick and trying to push them off my garbage can. They're all over me.
I had an interaction where I went to open up my garbage can to throw in a thing, and it was in there, and then I had to tip it over and have it run out there. I could have easily got. They're massive. They are the biggest. They're huge here.
And some of them are vicious.
You don't want to see them in the daytime. That's for sure. They're not doing great.
Gord got bit by a baby.
I mean, if the one in my backyard bit me, I would perish because it would eat me alive. It's so big. The second thing he said, I love that last thing he said about how it doesn't feel like an all or nothing year because of there's not a big time free agent on the way out. Dubas isn't on his last stand or whatever. Like it does have a bit of a feel of that. Like does that?
So you're okay
does that matter?
if this is year 1 of